Hey friends, it's me Jenny, and today I just wanted to share with you a little video about how I've been organizing my Blender projects to create really cool panels for Twitch. So if you have a Twitch channel, or pretty much if you have any social media, then you're probably familiar with creating banner art or channel art. If it's YouTube, then you have like the nice big banner, or Facebook, you'll have a nice banner up there. If you got Twitch, then you'll have like an offline banner, and then you'll also have a bunch of little panels down below in the description where you can have information. Usually people will use that section to create little panels that look like buttons. It's a really fun way to make your channel stand out. I kind of got a little carried away with my Blender project for panels, but now I got this really nice template. I know I have a lot of viewers who are also Twitch streamers, and maybe some of you would be interested in learning how to make panels in Blender. And also I wanted to tell you that I opened up a couple stores. I created a Gumroad store where I have several different things you can download for free and leave a tip if you want. And also I made a Fiverr store, so if anyone wants to order custom Twitch panels or other channel art, feel free to hit me up and let me know if you have any questions, because I really like to do this type of thing. I like making custom art, but I don't exactly do illustrations, so I don't do like custom hand-drawn characters. Generally, I don't do hand-drawn illustrations. My specialty is 3D text and sophisticated looking design. I can also help with animated intros for your streams. I can help you create custom slider transitions. I'm eager to flex my skills with Blender and also to get my first customers and get some 5-star ratings, so if you happen to download any of my free panels, I hope that you'll leave 5 stars. Thanks for that, because my profiles on there are pretty new, so they don't have any ratings at all. I might as well show you my Blender project. So lately I've been kind of obsessed with making this as streamlined as possible for when I want to change my panels on my Twitch channel. All the time I feel like switching things up a little bit, changing the colors or like changing the words, and I don't like to leave my panels looking the same for too long. So I made this cool template, and it's supposed to help me save a lot of time, and technically what I could do at this point is change the background, and it would just be a lot easier to just press render and it'll save out each file designated locations. A lot of the things that I've been learning about Blender lately are new to me, so I'm pretty excited to share my knowledge. But also, if you know of a better way to do something that you see me doing, by all means please correct me or give me any constructive feedback or suggestions for more efficient ways of going about things. In this particular case, I feel like I am definitely spending extra time on stuff, but I think it will save me time in the future, especially now that I have this nice template. In the past, I used to make panels for Blender just in Photoshop, and so I had nice organized folders in Photoshop, but I've been learning more Blender, and I really like the way I can extrude SVG files. So I have all of these social icons, and they're each kind of extruded to look like they're 3D. And also like this background panel that I have here, we actually used a Boolean technique, taking one shape and cutting it out of this other shape. We definitely did some interesting things here for these panels. You may not need to go this far for panels. You might just be happy slapping on whatever you got, but for me, I've been on Twitch for several years now, and I like to switch things up, try different designs, and just been having a lot of fun using Blender because you can do a UV texturing and really beautiful lights. And I actually have 2 folders of lights here, but what I wanted to point out today in particular was this really awesome area over here. It's called View Layers. I guess in older versions of Blender people say it was called Render Layers, but now they're called View Layers. So I just learned about this feature on Blender, which is something that I'm sure I'll need to use a lot in the future. When you're making characters, you need to separate different parts of the character, like the clothing, the hair, the eyes. And I saw that I could use this technique here in Blender for something as simple as making Twitch panels as well. In the view layers, I made a handful of view layers here, and you might have to scroll up or down to see all of your view layers, because you might be like, where did my view layer go? And be like, oh yeah, I just have to scroll down, duh. Or you can just click in here and type it, whatever you're looking for, if you have a whole ton. Each of these view layers has basically the things that I want to render for each individual panel. So I have each of my panels separated in collections here. Each of these are different collections, and I tried to make this as clean and organized as possible for myself. And I made these little separators here with just divider lines. I've been trying desperately to get good with organizing my Blender projects, and also to make things easy and more fun so that I can work on the design factor, not having to deal with like trying to find things and all the tiny little shortcuts and stuff that's just basic knowledge that's good to know, like have a handle on how to get around the program. Pretty much everything above these 3 lines right here there's the background, the social icons, and the camera and lights, and then a backup folder. And then down here is each panel. So we got achievements, chat commands, Discord, and you can just select those up here in the view layers, and then that'll show you what that looks like. Pretty much it's just easier to select all those items that you want to render. This one's just an extra layer with just a background. All of the social icons and all of the text are the exact height. Some of them have a slightly different scale because they just looked better. I have like a reference cube. This white cube right there is just my reference for the size of social icon. Some of the social icons are all long and skinny, and I'm like, why can't they be the exact same? They're not all like squares or circles. By the way, the social icons, you can get these. They all came as originally SVG files from fontawesome.com. And if you've never checked out Font Awesome, I definitely recommend it, because if you're trying to make Twitch panels or you're trying to get nice vector graphics for other projects like even flyers or banners of any sort, there's free ones that you can use. And not only do they have downloadable versions in both PNG, SVG, you can just use the HTML to integrate them into your website too. So Font Awesome really is awesome, totally lives up to its name. And that's where I got all these cool social icons, is from Font Awesome. And some of the Font Awesome icons are only available for the paid versions, but I'm most certainly not sponsored in any way by Font Awesome. It's just actually one of the most useful sites that I found, because before I found Font Awesome, I was looking at other sites, and I would go to like different social icon sites and download these PNGs. PNGs are basically gonna look all weird and pixelated if you take like a smaller picture and you try to resize it so it's bigger. It's not gonna look good unless you have a vector graphic, and SVG is a type of vector graphic. So I'm definitely not a professional with all that stuff. Correct me if I'm misquoting anything. And they're perfect to import here into Blender. You can import any type of SVG or many other types of files. So you can come over here to File, Import, and you can see just how many different types of files you can import into Blender by default. You just come down here and you can import FBX, which is for 3D models, or you can just come over here to regular SVG file. Just gotta find it on your computer wherever it's at, import it. Okay, I'll show you where mine is, just for example. Okay, so just navigate to wherever your SVG files are, choose what you want. Double click on it, and then it'll come into your project file. G to select, and then you can move it anywhere that you want on your scene. And then you could just come down to here under Object Data Properties, and then you come down here where you see Geometry, and that's where you know that you're going to go from 2D to 3D, and you can basically make that as tall as you want, and that's kind of fun. You can make this as tall as you want, and S to scale. There's lots of different ways to do things here in Blender. I'm going to delete that because that's just for an example, just so you have an idea of how I imported the SVG files for the social icons. So up here where you have the view layers, we can just go through these and edit each one. However, I'll create one new view layer just to show you how you would make a brand new view layer and kind of try to give you an idea of what it is. View layers are my new favorite feature here on Blender. I'm learning so many things in Blender every day, but this one's definitely a game changer for me because I'm always trying to organize lots of different files, especially when trying to make channel art, and I've got these different subcategories of things and I was trying to like render them out. So anyway, to make a new view layer, just press this little button right here, and that'll basically make everything in your whole project visible. So we can rename this and say example view layer, and then you would basically just select A for all while hovering in your hierarchy here, and then deselect the things that you don't want to be visible. So let's just say the things that I definitely wanted to be visible were camera and light, the background, and then we'll just say one for an example, say YouTube, and then all these other ones are still selected with blue, and then you have to right click on the little collection folder. And if you don't get it right on the collection folder, you're going to get this different menu. So make sure that when you go to right click that you're right on top of a folder. And even then, something's not right. Hold on. Oh no. Everything that you have selected right now has to be a collection. So deselect that last reference cube that I had. That's why I wasn't seeing the correct menu. Right click on the collection, and also then go down here to view layer and disable from view layer. Just the things that you deselected will be visible. And one thing that I found out is that since my lights are inside a parent object, every time I do this, then those get turned off, but they're still part of the view layer. But you can just select anything and turn anything on or off that you want to be visible if it's a collection. And then right here, then that's going to be that view layer from now on. So I thought that was really, really awesome because all the time I was just like enabling and disabling my collections and my objects and not really sure how to organize things so that I could do this as fast as humanly possible. And it was really annoying that sometimes I would accidentally be hitting shortcuts like my number keys at the top of my keyboard on my laptop without clicking tab first. Because if you press tab to get into edit mode first for an object, then you can click the number buttons at the top of your keyboard and they'll do certain things. But if you don't click tab first into edit mode, then the numbers do something different. They'll like turn all your collections on or off depending. Long story short, we're learning how to better organize our collections. I'm just really happy about my life and I wanted to share with you the glory. And also to let you know that I put up some of these panels for free on Gumroad. There's free panels to download if you're interested. They look just like these. So I only have a few Patreon supporters. It's not really a huge thing just yet. I do like to post on there periodically. And something that I enjoy the most lately is Blender. So this is the thing I'm focusing on, so I figured I would offer it. Gumroad, I noticed, is really awesome because you can search on Gumroad and find all kinds of free or inexpensive procedural shaders for Blender, Unity project files, all kinds of things on Gumroad. Not only do they have digital art projects, but they have lots of other things too. So I definitely recommend checking out Gumroad. If you're an artist or a game developer or programmer, you can put up free or paid products on there. Fiverr, I noticed, is a little bit different because on Fiverr, it's basically a service. So Gumroad's more like a product and then Fiverr's more like a service. So on Fiverr, basically people would be ordering a product that is a little bit more customized. I can't wait for my first customers on Fiverr because when you first start a new store and it looks like you just don't have any reviews yet, it's just kind of lame. So if anyone would like to be my first customers on Fiverr, I'll do my best to go above and beyond. Of course, I've got my regular website, jennynexus.com, that has links and examples to like my portfolio of digital art, 3D modeling, and also voice acting. I am still building my portfolio, so there's lots of things I might still be willing to do as a collaboration of a trade of some sort. So if you can't afford panels, but you really want some awesome custom channel art and you have something else of value, then hit me up, let me know what you got, and maybe we can trade something cool. If you don't have time to do your own channel art, I think it's just as admirable to go ahead and support your favorite artists. A lot of them are very professional illustrators and they definitely are able to do things that I can't do. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can about 3D art. And if you're trying to learn how to use Blender like me, and maybe checking out my project would help you understand Blender a little bit better, I hope you'll consider downloading the project file and letting me know what you think. One other tip that I wanted to point out that I learned recently about organizing my hierarchy here in Blender is that you can create basically a brand new collection. You can either right click and say new, or you can go up here to this little plus icon and say new collection that way. And then it'll just create the new collection, double click to rename it, and just say new test collection. This really cool tip I realized the other day was that you can have two views here. Someone pointed out that this is a good idea where you have two windows, and this one has all the collections, and this one actually has the collections deselected right here. So it's easier to view the items without seeing all the clutter. Because I feel like there's just too much stuff. Like sometimes I don't need to see all those collection folders. The reason why we have the second window right here is because when you make a new collection up in the top window, then you can drag your objects from the lower viewport into here. So say you want to take this YouTube icon, you can click on it in this viewport and then press period. If you don't see it over here while you're hovering, press period on your number pad and it'll like highlight it, and there it is right there. And when you take it and drag it from here into your new collection or any other collection here in your top view, then it's the same SVG, the YouTube.svg. It's the same thing. You can just see it in two areas. I really liked this trick because it just helps me keep things organized. So I got all of my social icons in a collection that's by default just off. All of these are off. And so when I got my each individual collection turned on or off, You may understand the benefit if you're learning how to use Blender like me. I'm still personally learning stuff all the time. So if you decide I don't want to deal with that view layer anymore, I don't like it anymore. What I like to do is first I'll delete over here, which the whole contents of the collection that we don't want anymore, and this example view layer. I'm just gonna press this X right there, and that'll delete that view layer. But the coolest part about the view layers is that once you get this all set up properly, you gotta go into composting to set this up properly. Then when you press F12 to render, it'll look like this, and it actually goes through and renders each view layer separately into the designated folder of your choice. So, and then once that is rendered, then you can see them all right here. These are actually all the rendered images that we just did. And not only that, but those are great. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to like save these out individually, so stupid. But no, you just go over here to composting. But basically you just have to choose a file output source by pressing Shift A. And then if you can't find it or don't remember how to look under output, file output, and then once that is here, oh there, now those previews came back. That's what each of those looks like. So this is basically the file output source. And this is where you choose wherever you want your files to go. For me, I have this nifty Twitch panels folder. I'm always curious to learn how to do things better and faster and more efficiently. So by all means, if you know more than I do, or if you've done this before, then please let me know if there's any better ways to do this. I love learning, and I would love to share the knowledge, and I'll do a shout out if we wind up implementing something that a viewer suggests. Anyway, so this is where we save out all my files. This is the same thing. This one looks rounder and fatter because over here, what we did to this one, we're going to do to this one by just add input, and that adds these little node options. And so when we had each of these, we just have to like make sure, add each one of these render layers. And if you can't remember how to do that, we'll just go Shift A anywhere in this area, Shift A, search render layer. So if you ever forget how to find something, just use the search box. Like that was one of the coolest things I realized, that I'm still getting used to just going straight to that search box option. So then you connect image to image, but we don't need to do this. I just wanted to show you how that's done. But basically for each image that you want to save out, you'll have to add an input here, and then you can double click here to rename them. Like panel 1, panel 2, whatever you want to name these, and connect them to whichever one. So when you connect them, just make sure they're named the same thing and you're good to go. So delete those. It looks all insane like this when all is said and done, but I think that this type of file is actually pretty educational and maybe helpful for other people who are just getting used to Blender like myself. And one of the first things that's been extra helpful to me is just organizing my collections, understanding view layers a little bit better. Also, view layers, aka render layers, are awesome for many different reasons. It makes it easy to render out a bunch of different files. For each one of these images, I was saving each one individually. So now when I render them, they all get saved at once. So woohoo! Thanks again to everyone that watched the video, and I hope that it was helpful. If you're interested in checking out the free downloads that I put up on Gumroad, then I would love for you to check them out. Let me know what you think. Leave a 5-star rating if you like them. If you would like some help with custom channel art, check out my Fiverr, and that's just fiverr.com/jennynexus. But right here is my portfolio page, and then you can find channel art, emotes, and resume all right here, plus contact button. A lot of the stuff that I put up on Gumroad, I'm also putting on my website, so you can just come here to the channel art page, and I have free downloads that are a direct download from my website with a zip file. You don't have to make an account on Gumroad or Fiverr if you want to download these things. Some of them are on my website. I'll try to keep this up to date. So if you would like a list of my favorite tutorials for either growing your Twitch channel or making your channels look awesome, I have this document that I published. This is literally just a long list that I've been growing over the years. Some of this stuff might be a little bit outdated, so let me know if anything's broken on here. Some of these things I love to this day, like nerderdiet.com, Better TTV, Treat Stream, Stream Element, Streamlabs, Nightbot, Wisebot. A lot of these things I use almost daily, so let me know if you have any particular questions about Twitch or panels, channel design. This is what the panels look like on my channel. Yay! Well, anyway, thanks again for watching this video, friends, and let me know if you have any other suggestions for my channel. If you're a streamer or a game developer and you're on Facebook, then I would love to have you join my Facebook group and share your projects or your channels. I've been super into Discord. I'm even on the Discord Hype Squad, but one thing I've noticed is that you can only be in 100 Discord servers at a time, which that sounds like a lot, but since I've been on Twitch and Discord for about 4 years now, I actually had to make a second Discord account just so I could join more Discord servers because all of my friends on Twitch, they have Discord servers. I made a Facebook group because I noticed that Discord is a little bit limiting in that way. Sometimes people are reluctant to join a Discord server because they might have to leave a different server first. Also, I still stream regularly on Twitch about 3 to 5 times a week, so yeah, catch you next time, friends!